Hello, friends. It's Tara, your yoga bestie, and I've got a new flow for you this week that I want to share with you. So let's get right to it. No props needed necessarily, but I always like to have two blocks. I'm going to invite you to come into any restful position where you can check in with your breath. That might be a reclined position, seated, child's pose, whatever is calling your name. Give yourself some time to just settle in, maybe wiggling your body from side to side to feel kind of set into that space. We're going to tap into our ujjayi breath. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Taking this time to connect with our breath. It will be our energy source throughout our practice. So as we inhale, feeling the space right below the navel lift. Drawing upward, we feel an expansion through the belly, the side bodies, the rib cage. And that breath draws all the way up to where it lifts the collarbones. As you exhale, your belly button is going to draw in towards the spine, which will allow you to use all three parts of the lungs. And let's create a rhythm where we inhale to the counts of 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. Exhaling the same, or maybe making that exhalation a little bit longer. And we've been talking in my classes about the chakras. We're currently in the third chakra, or the solar plexus chakra, which is located at your solar plexus or your core. And with that, I'm offering up the affirmation today of I am motivated, persistent, and successful. So in saying that, you might inhale the words I am motivated, exhaling persistent and successful. And I will remind you of this affirmation throughout our practice. So on your next inhale, find maybe a full body stretch if you're on your back or any other movement that feels good or organic. We will make our way to a nice standing forward fold at the top of our mat. Oh, here he is. This is what you're really here for, Mr. Lionel. So this is my little partner in crime. He'll be making cameos throughout. So yeah, plus he's really cute to look at. So we're going to come into our forward fold at the top of our mat. And I like to separate my feet wider than hip distance apart, but try to make it at least hip distance apart, so 2 fists in between the feet. And you can have opposite edges, behind the back, interlacing the fingers. Good. If you prefer to walk your hands from side to side, that might be nice. Yeah, and then we'll bring our feet together as we roll all the way up to standing, coming into mountain pose, Tadasana. And we can have our arms down by our sides or maybe hands to heart center as we draw the chin in. And we'll set our intention for our practice today. So maybe that intention is keeping in mind our affirmation of I am motivated, persistent, and successful. Or maybe something else comes to mind that resonates with you today. Please honor that. And we'll take another big breath in here. Exhale, let it go. And from here, we'll reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, coming into a forward fold, so we can either swan dive or bring the hands through heart center. Inhale, lengthening halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. So fingertips to toes or hands to shins as we lengthen. And then let's plant the palms, keeping our gaze forward as we step back into our first plank or push-up position, super strong. Really spreading through those fingers nice and wide and working that weight forward so that we're not sitting into the heel of the hand. We're bringing that weight towards the base of the fingers. And then as we exhale, we'll lower for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. We'll come all the way onto our bellies. Tops of the feet come into the mat. Hands are underneath the shoulders as we inhale, lifting up Cobra Pose, Bhujangasana. As we exhale, we'll lower. We're going to start to move through these at the pace of our breath. So find a rhythm that feels good to you. Can keep the hands there, maybe change it up. I often come onto my fingertips in a wide stance. Maybe dip one shoulder down, the other shoulder down. And just kind of move at the pace of your breath. When you're ready, next time the forehead lowers, we're going to make our way into our first down dog of our practice. So lifting up those hips nice and high and taking some time to bicycle the legs out. Or find any other movement that might feel good. And in your down dog, maybe you bend the knees, starting to move the hips from side to side. Maybe you start to draw the chest towards the thighs, working the tail up towards the ceiling, and working those heels down. Or finding any other movement that feels good right here. So maybe that's lifting up one leg at a time. Maybe it's bending the knees and then straightening. It might be shifting forward into your plank pose and then back into your down dog, lifting up those hips. And just kind of playing with that as you come forward and back. Yeah. Let's go ahead and all shift forward into that plank or push-up position, super strong. As we exhale, we'll slowly lower. One breath at a time, maybe coming into a hover this time or chaturanga. Inhaling into your cobra pose or maybe up dog if you're ready. And then we'll exhale into our down dog, lifting up those hips nice and high. So checking in with the breath. Big inhale. Exhale. And then go ahead and lift up the right leg. We're going to open up that hip, heel to behind, knee up towards the ceiling as we work that left heel down. We can stay right here. And as we inhale, we'll go ahead and straighten that leg, squaring the hips so both cheeks are in line as we bring all 5 toes downward. And as we exhale, bring that knee in towards your nose. And then we're going to come into a figure 4 shape. So we're going to hook that ankle right to the leg above the knee as we push it back into our down dog. So you really want to think about pushing your chest towards your thighs. You're going to feel some space in the back of the left leg with this position. Big breath in here. Exhale. And then we're going to swivel that right hip down, coming into a figure 4 side plank kind of. So we're going to lift up the left arm as we swivel that hip down so your behind is kind of in this hover. Before our warm up, so we're going to be doing this later, go ahead and lower your seat all the way down. So you're creating this seated pigeon pose. And you choose how close you want your behind and heel to be. You're going to feel more opening when the butt is closer to your heel. You're going to feel a little bit less intensity if they're not as close. And then once you find that spot, remember, we're still early in the class, so no worries where you are. But once you find that spot, maybe you find a little bit of a windshield wiper here with the leg. Yeah, and then we're going to bring that right hand back to the top of the mat. We're going to extend through our right leg and our left leg. And we're going to come into our fallen triangle pose. So left arm reaches up. We're really pushing into the mat to lift those hips up. And then we're going to bring that front leg, or the right leg in this instance, right underneath us, coming into our gate pose. So we're going to lift all the way up, reaching that right arm up and overhead, breathing into that side body. Finding a focal point that feels good to you, so maybe gazing up or straight ahead. Inhaling. And then as we exhale, bring the right hand down, coming into a supported side plank. So we're going to reach that left leg up, feeling that space along the side body. And we can flex through that foot, finding that engagement there as we swing that leg all the way forward, coming into our runner's lunge. So I have a block to each side. I like to have a block to each side of my foot as I come into this pose because we're going to start to shift forward and back from runner's lunge to our pyramid-like pose. Just moving at your pace. So feel free to lower that back knee for part of it or all of it. Feel free to linger. You listen to what you need today. Next time that we come forward, we're going to go ahead and plant the hands, pushing the floor away as we lift up that foot to find our plank or push-up position, super strong. As we exhale, we'll slowly lower, inhaling into our cobra or up dog, and then exhaling into our down dog, lifting up those hips nice and high. Big breath in. Exhale, let it go. And then go ahead and lift up the left leg. We're going to open up this hip, heel to behind, knee up towards the ceiling. We hold here. We can start to make those circles going in one direction, going in the other direction. Yeah, and then as we inhale, we'll straighten that leg. Exhale, knee draws to nose. And we're going to hook that ankle to the outside of that leg so that we can create that figure 4 shape here, pushing it back into our down dog. And you may notice, just like anything else, that one side is a little bit more accessible than the other side. I actually say one side is grouchier than the other side because that often happens, right? Big breath in. Exhale. And then we're going to swivel that left hip down, hovering the behind as we reach the right arm up. We know that for the warm-up, we're lowering the seat down and we're facing the back, coming into this figure 4 shape or this seated pigeon pose. And again, I really like this kind of moving forward and back in a windshield wiper type of way, but maybe you're holding it. Maybe you're figuring out if you want to bring that heel closer towards the behind. And then from this space, we're moving into our fallen triangle pose. We're going to straighten through the left leg. We're going to straighten through the right leg. We'll bring that left hand down as we reach the right arm up, moving into that fallen triangle pose. Go ahead and bring the left leg underneath you, setting up for gate. So we're going to lift up the torso, reaching up and over, breathing into that side body. Again, finding a focal point that feels good to your neck here. Big breath in. And then as we exhale, lowering that left hand down, supported side plank so we can lift up that right leg and arm, flexing through the foot so that we feel all of that activation there. And then we're going to swing that right leg all the way to the top as we come into our runner's lunge. So again, maybe taking those blocks to each side of the foot and starting to shift forward and back, finding a rhythm that feels good on this side. So same options apply from one side to the next, but you listen to what you need. And the next time that we shift it forward, go ahead and plant the palms, making your way to your down dog. And we can take that vinyasa, or you can always skip a vinyasa and go right to down dog. So listen to your body. Once you find that down dog, take a big breath in. Exhale, let it go. And then softening the knees, we're going to gaze forward as we either walk or float to the top of our mat. Inhale, we'll lengthen halfway. Exhale into our forward fold. Let's reverse swan dive all the way up, reaching up and back. And as we exhale, we're going to come right back forward, moving through some sun A's for our warm-up. Lengthen halfway. Hands plant as we either step or float back. Lowering or hovering. Inhale into your cobra or up dog. Exhaling into your down dog. Take a full breath in here. Exhale. And then bending those knees, we gaze forward as we step or float to the top. Inhale, lengthening halfway. Exhale into our forward fold. Reverse. Exhale into our forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Hands plant as we either step or float back. Lowering or hovering. Inhaling into our cobra or up dog. Exhaling into our down dog. Big breath in. Exhale, let it go. Softening those knees, we gaze forward as we step or float to the top. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale. We'll reverse. Reach it up, reach it back. Exhaling into our forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Hands plant as we step or float back. Lowering or hovering. Inhaling into your cobra or up dog. Exhaling into your down dog. So take a big breath in here. Exhale. And either stay in this resting pose of your down dog or find a different resting pose. Because if you're new to my class, we break up the class into little sections. So I have 2 main sequences, which I call the peanut butter and the jelly. So the first main sequence we're about to start. So we always have like a break in between the two. And then at the end, we bring them together. So it's a delicious full sequence at the end that we get to see all of our progress from all of our muscle memory with that repetition. So it's a good time to also check in with our affirmation as we kind of let what we've just done sink in before moving into that first main sequence, which is I am motivated, persistent, and successful. Again, inhaling, I am motivated, exhaling, persistent, and successful. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with that first main sequence, which is going to feel familiar from the warm-up. So from our down dog, we inhale, reaching that right leg up. Exhale, knee draws to nose as we shift it forward, and we'll hook that foot as we come into that figure 4 down dog. From that figure 4 down dog, we're going to swivel that right hip down, hovering the behind as we lift up the left arm. And instead of setting it down, we're going to right into that fallen triangle. So straightening through both legs, lifting up those hips. And then go ahead and bring the right knee underneath you. Lifting up into your gate pose, we'll reach that right arm up and overhead. And then as we exhale, we bring that hand down. Supported side plank, left arm and leg lift. And then we'll just swing that left leg all the way to the top, moving into half moon this time. So if you have a block, maybe utilize that as we lift up the right arm and leg coming into our half moon. Flexing through that foot like you're placing a big footprint in the back of the room. Working that weight towards the ball of the left foot, but not squeezing with the toes, so the toes are still free. And then from this space, this is a little bit of a tricky transition. We're bringing that knee in towards our chest because we're going to move into a figure 4 shape from chair pose, otherwise known as funky chair. So we're going to bring that ankle above the knee, sit it back into your heels. You might reach those arms forward like you're driving a car. You might bring the arms onto the leg or hands to heart center. If you have blocks, great tool to come into a forward fold variation. Also have the opportunity to play if you have a flying pigeon in your practice. You might try it if you have the blocks. Remember, they have 3 different heights. Sometimes that's hard to remember when you're in the middle of the practice. But you can kind of bring that leg into the armpits as much as possible and start to maybe shift forward. The key is when you shift forward, that you're still pushing the floor away. So you're not shifting forward and then just letting that head butt the mat, because no one really likes that. And then from here, we're going to step the right leg back, the left leg back, optional vinyasa, or go right to down dog. But that means that is our first main sequence on our first side. So well done. Big breath in. Exhale. And then as we inhale, reach the left leg up. Exhale, knee draws to nose. And we're going to hook that leg so that we come into that figure 4 shape in our down dog. From here, we're swiveling that left hip down, hovering the behind as that right arm reaches up. And then we kick both legs out to straight, coming into our fallen triangle pose. From that fallen triangle pose, bring that left leg underneath you, coming into gate. So we're going to lift all the way up and over, breathing into that side body. And then left hand comes down, supported side plank. We swing that right leg all the way to the top of the mat, setting up for our half moon. So maybe we have our block there for the right hand as we open up, reaching that left arm and leg up. So flex through that foot. It's okay if we find those wobbles. That's just our ego leaving our practice. Big breath in. And then on the exhale, bring that knee in towards your chest. So the closer you bring the legs to each other, the less wobbly it's going to feel. It's all about these transitions as we move into our funky chair pose. So bringing that ankle above the knee. Again, finding your arm variation. If you know right away that you want to play or you want to utilize those blocks, you can. So always the shortest height. If you're moving into that arm balance using the blocks, take a big breath in. And then on our exhale, we're going to step the left leg back. We'll step the right foot back. Option to take that vinyasa or go right to down dog. So that's what we've got for our first main sequence. So we're going to start to pick up the pace on this. But as always, use your breath to guide you. We will be meeting in down dog. So inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, knee draws to nose as we create that figure 4 shape, sitting it back into our down dog. From here, we're going to swivel that right hip down. Left arm reaches up as we straighten both legs for our fallen triangle pose. Right knee draws underneath as we lift up into our gate pose, reaching up and over. And then right hand comes back down. Lift up that left leg, swing it all the way to the top of the mat, half moon, maybe utilizing the blocks, maybe not. And then from that half moon, see if you can connect those legs super strong before coming into that figure 4 or that funky chair pose. From our funky chair, we step it back, making our way to down dog. From that down dog, left leg lifts. Exhale, knee draws to nose, hooking that leg for our figure 4 down dog. Swiveling that left hip down, we reach the right arm up. And then we straighten through both legs, coming into that fallen triangle pose. Left knee comes underneath, gate pose as we lift up that torso, reaching all the way up and over. And then left hand comes down, supported side plank, swing that leg all the way to the top, moving into your half moon as we open up towards the opposite side of the room. And then connecting those legs, see if you can go right into your funky chair pose from here, sitting into the heel. And then we step it back, making our way to our down dog however you like. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, knee to nose. Hook it for that figure 4 shape. And then swing the right hip down, left arm reaches up. Fallen triangle pose as we straighten through those legs. Right knee comes underneath. We lift up for our gate pose. And then right hand comes down. Supported side plank. Swing that left leg all the way forward as you come into your half moon. From here, we're moving into that funky chair. So bringing that ankle above the knee, we sit it back into the heel. And then we step it back, moving to our down dog. All right, left leg lifts. Exhale, knee to nose. Hook it for that figure 4 shape. And then swing that left hip down, reaching the right arm up, straightening through those legs for fallen triangle pose. Left knee draws under as we come into that gate. From our gate, left hand comes down, supported side plank, and we'll swing that leg all the way forward for half moon as we open it up. Bringing that leg in, we move into that figure 4 funky chair pose, sitting into that heel. And then let's step it back, making our way to down dog. All right, how we doing? So this is what I'm talking about. You get a little break. So take as much time as you need to. Our second main sequence, or our jelly, is taking place at the top of our mat. So we're gonna meet there. And feel free to kind of draw those shoulders up, back, and down, really breathing into the side bodies and the rib cage, feeling that expansion. And slowing down the breath if it started to speed up at all. From here, we're gonna bring our right knee into our chest. We can hold on to that knee with our right hand, or we might go into Padangusthasana. So taking our index finger, middle finger, and thumb, so our peace fingers and our thumb around our big toe, and we can work this leg straightish. So this is what straightish is, right? Otherwise, no worries, just hold on to the knee. Either way, we're gonna start to extend that leg out to the side. So we're holding onto that knee, or we're finding that yoga toe hold. Once you find your variation, really push into the mat with that foot. Start to bring your gaze up as you lengthen through the crown of the head. Big breath in here. And then as we exhale, we're moving into reverse eagle. So again, I wanna recommend really bringing that leg in and then bringing it back and then starting to dip down so that you can find that stability. Keep in mind, you can always have your hands down on the mat. They don't have to be at heart center. They could also be on blocks. That's helpful. So just Find something that's suitable for you. Weight is shifting back into your heel. And then from this space, we step it back and we're inhaling into our reverse warrior. So we got warrior 2 legs, and we're gonna reach up and over, breathing into that left side body. So super strong and straight back leg, allowing us to go a little bit deeper into that forward leg as we lengthen along that left side. Big breath in. Our exhale is gonna take us into a wide forward fold twist. So all 10 toes face that long edge of the mat. Left hand comes down, right arm is gonna reach up as we twist towards the back of our mat. So stacking shoulder on top of shoulder. Try to work your weight forward so you're coming out of the heels and towards the balls of the feet. Big breath in. And then on our exhale, bend that right leg. So we're coming into Skandasana, but then we're gonna come onto our seat. Once we come onto our seat, we're gonna play with some mobility. So we're gonna bring that right knee down. So I'm bringing it up and down. So that's what I'm doing, facing the other direction. And you can have your hands down. You can have your hands at heart center. Just kind of seeing what happens, and you move at your pace. Next time you bring that knee down, we're coming into our forward fold, Janusirsasana, so you can frame that leg. Feel free to have your blocks here too as you start to come forward. And we'll take one more big breath in here. Exhale. And then let's roll it up. We're gonna lift up that right knee. We're facing the back for a runner's lunge, so hands will come to the back of the mat. We have to pick up our butt, and we're facing the back. We'll lower the back knee down right away as we come into our half splits. So again, a good time to incorporate your blocks. Basically, you don't need any blocks, but you can also bend the knee here, allowing your chest and thigh to come closer towards one another as you let your head just relax. Big breath in. Exhale, let it go. And then we'll shift it forward, finding our runner's lunge. And then we bring that left knee into our chest as we come to standing. So we're set up for our second side already. So we can hold on to that left knee, or we can find that yoga toe hold. Again, one side might be crankier than the other, right? Or grouchier. And we'll start to maybe make that leg straightish. Maybe we're holding onto the knee. Doesn't matter. Either way, we're going to bring it out to the side. And as we do, try to lift up your gaze, extending through the crown of the head as you work those shoulders down. Big breath in. And then as we exhale, reverse eagle. So try to bring that leg in, finding that connection before you bring it behind, and then start to squat it down as you flex through that left foot like you're kicking your behind. Maybe your hands come down. Maybe they don't. Big breath in here as you shift it back into your heel, and then step it back. Warrior 2 legs as we take it to our reverse warrior, Viparita, reaching that arm up and over. Breathing into that side body. Inhale. Maybe going a little bit deeper on that exhale. Nice inhale. On our exhale, finding that wide forward fold twist. So this time, right hand comes down, left arm reaches up. So we're twisting towards the top of the mat, shifting that weight forward. I'm just putting my head into the curtains. And then soften that left knee, coming into Skandasana as we make our way to our seat. So again, finding that mobility, so working that left knee down and up, placing your hands wherever you like. Is this your favorite part because I'm on the floor? You know, sometimes it's my students' favorite part too, when you get to sit down. Next time that knee lowers, we'll go ahead and frame that leg as we come into our forward fold here over that right leg. Breathing into the space. Take one more breath in. Exhale. And then we'll make our way upright. We'll bring that left knee up. Again, pick up the butt, face the front as you come into your runner's lunge. And then we're gonna lower the back knee down as we come into our half splits. So maybe incorporating the blocks here, or just letting your head relax once you find your space. Feeling that space in the back of the leg. Big breath in. Exhale. And then let's shift it forward. Coming into our one-legged mountain. And we go right to that other side. So we're gonna start to pick up the pace on this. So find your variation. And we're gonna extend that leg out towards the side. So either holding onto our big toe or our knee. As we exhale, reverse eagle. So bringing that knee behind, lowering down into that squat. We step it back, reverse warrior, reaching up and over. And then we find that wide twist. So left hand is down, right arm reaches up. Softening that right knee as we lower all the way from Skandasana to our seat. We'll lower that knee and we'll come into that forward fold. Big breath in. Exhale. Lift up the torso, lift up that knee, lift up your butt, face the back for that runner's lunge. And we'll lower the back knee down as we come into our half splits. From here, we'll shift it back forward and we'll bring that left knee into our chest. So holding onto that knee or that big toe as we extend to the side. Inhale. Exhale, reverse eagle, bring that knee behind. Step it back so that we can inhale into the reverse warrior. Exhale, setting up for our twist. So right hand is down, left arm reaches up. And then we bend that left leg. Skandasana to our seat. We lower that left knee down and we'll find that forward fold here. And then we lift up the knee, lift up your butt as you face the front, lowering the back knee down as we straighten through that left leg for our half splits. From here, we shift it forward and we're bringing that knee into our chest, finding that toe or knee as we extend that leg out to the side. And then reverse eagle, bringing that knee behind, squatting it down. Step it back, reverse warrior, left arm reaches up overhead. Exhale, wide twist, left hand down, right arm reaches up. Soften the right knee, Skandasana all the way to your seat, lowering that knee down as we come into that forward fold. And then we lift the knee, we lift our butt as we face the back to lower that knee down and come into our half splits. From here, we shift it forward. Left knee draws in as we find that knee or big toe and extend that leg out to the side. To our reverse eagle. Step it back so that we inhale into our reverse warrior. To our wide twist, right hand down, left arm reaches up. We soften that left knee, Skandasana all the way to our seat. And then we lower that knee, we come into our forward fold. From here, we lift up the knee, we lift up our butt facing the top of our mat or the front of our mat, and then we'll lower that knee down as we come into our half splits. You can always go into the full variation too. And then we shift it forward, picking up that knee. We're making our way to down dog now, so make your way to down dog however you like. Take a vinyasa or not. And then find a resting position of choice. How are we doing? You're doing great. So we're just moving right through it, but time to check in with the breath, time to kind of give yourself the pep talk because my favorite part of the class is coming up, our peanut butter and jelly, where we bring those two sequences together. So just check in with your breath, slow it down if it started to speed up, get a drink of water. I'm so glad I have water this time. Last time I kept on hoping that Lionel would bring it to me. He would if he could. But yeah, just checking in with the breath, inhaling the words, I am motivated, exhaling persistent and successful. Again, inhaling, I am motivated, exhaling persistent and successful. All right, team, we got this. We're gonna move through it all together. It's gonna be super fun. And the good news is your body's been there several times already, so it is so smart and gonna help you out throughout. So you've got this. Of course, if you wanna sit it out, also great. So let's go. From our down dog, inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, knee draws to nose as we hook that leg coming into our figure 4 shape. From here, we're swiveling that right hip down, bringing the left arm up, and then we move into that fallen triangle pose, straightening through our legs. Right knee comes underneath us for gate, so we'll lift it up, reaching up and overhead, and then right hand comes down, left arm and leg lift as we swing it all the way to the top of our mat for half moon, opening up to the other side. From here, bring that leg in as we transition into that figure 4 or funky chair pose as we sit it back into that left heel. So we go right into our second main sequence by either reaching for that big toe or our knee coming into Baddha Konasana. From here, bring that right knee behind, reverse eagle. And then we step it back, reverse warrior, reaching up and back. From here, wide forward fold, so left hand comes down, right arm reaches up. And then we're going to bend into that right leg as we come all the way to Skandasana into our seat, lowering that knee down as we come over the left leg. Take a full breath in here. Exhale. And then we'll lift up the knee, lift up your butt as you face the back. And we'll lower that back knee down as we come into our half splits from here. Full breath in. Exhale. And then let's shift it forward, making our way to our down dog, which means the first side is done. You're doing amazing. So from that down dog, inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, knee draws to nose, lift that leg. Finding that figure 4. Swivel that left hip down as we reach the right arm up. And then we straighten through both legs, coming into our fallen triangle pose. Left knee is going to come underneath you as you lift all the way up, finding that gate pose. And then left hand lowers down. We come into that supported side plank as we swing that leg all the way to the back of the mat. So this is going to feel funky as we move into our half moon, opening up towards the other side. From here, bring that knee in, moving into that funky chair pose or that figure 4 shape. Sit it back into the heel. Try to bring all that weight back for our chair pose. And then we're moving into that second sequence. So take hold of the knee or the big toe as you extend that leg out to the side. From here, reverse eagle. So bring that left knee behind, really squat it down. And then we're going to step it back for reverse warrior, reaching up and back. From here, we find our wide forward folds twist. So right hand down, left arm reaches up. And then we're softening that left knee as we come all the way to our seat, where we'll lower our knee down and we'll find that third breath in. Exhale. And then we lift up the torso, we lift up that knee, we lift up our butt as we face forward. Runner's lunge, where we lower that back knee down and we straighten through the left leg, coming into our half splits. Take a nice big breath in here. Exhale. And then we shift it forward. We make our way to our down dog, however you want to get there. And then be so excited because you did it. Great work. So check in with the breath. Start to notice. We're going to meet in a seated position of choice. So however you want to get there, maybe you're already there. Go ahead and place any props that you might want to utilize when we come into a recline position beside you. And just take a moment to maybe hold on to those knees, draw the shoulders back, lift up through the gaze, coming into a cow version of our head pose. And then we'll start to round like our seated cat pose. Just kind of move through that inhaling lift. Exhale. Inhaling lift. And exhale. So next time we lift, we can reach those arms forward. We can draw the chin in towards our chest as we start to slowly make our way onto our backs, one vertebra at a time. And as you make your way here, We're going to come into figure 4 on our back. So a reclined pigeon pose. We'll bring that right ankle to meet the left knee. We can stay here. We can pick up that leg, maybe interlacing the fingers underneath the knee or across the shin. Just make sure your head is on the mat. So if it isn't, you can still lift it up and have that block underneath your head as a pillow. Another great option is to have the block underneath your left foot, just to kind of elevate it and find a little bit more sensation there. So find your version. Maybe you're rocking a little bit from side to side. Take a big breath in here. And then as we exhale, we're going to move into a twist. So if you have that leg lifted or if you have any sort of props underneath you, go ahead and remove those. Arms can come out to the sides as we let that leg or let our legs fall over towards the left side. And we can come into any variation of a reclined twist. Big breath in. Exhale. And then we'll bring our gaze to center. We'll bring our legs to center. We can give them a nice squeeze, give them a little hug before we set up for our second side. So this time, left ankle is going to come to the right knee. And you know the different options. Keep it there, maybe interlace underneath the knee or across the shin. If you have this variation, maybe you like to kind of move from side to side here, just rocking. One more big breath in. On our exhale, we'll release this, moving into our reclined twist. So letting the legs fall over towards the right side. Finding your variation, maybe gazing past the left fingertips, just kind of allowing your body to fully surrender here and just to let go. Big breath in. Exhale. And then we'll bring our gaze to center. We'll bring our legs to center, giving them a nice squeeze. And this is a great time to check in with the body, see if there's anything else you need. Maybe you come into some windshield wipers here. Maybe you come into some reclined inversion, maybe utilizing blocks for support if that feels good. But just know that the next place we're going to come to all together will be our final pose of rest, our final pose of Shavasana. So we can extend our legs out in front of us in a wide stance, allowing the arms to come by our sides, palms facing up, and try to take up space on your mat. I like to encourage my classes to take up space on their mat because our practice is a reflection of our lives off the mat. So the idea is that if we take up space here, we take up space once we go out into the world. Have a moment to where you have so much gratitude for showing up for yourself today, for your mat. So much gratitude for all the hard work that you put in. And so much gratitude for this feeling that you created through those first two things. And be proud of yourself because you did amazing. You're so amazing. Know that I'm so proud of you for making this commitment to you and your mat and for putting in all the hard work. So now just allow the breath to be soft, your body to be still, and no worries. Just be. Just be. Feel free to take as long of a Shavasana as you need. Otherwise, when you're ready, we'll start to wiggle our fingertips and our toes, reaching our arms up overhead as we find a nice full body stretch, awakening to this new body. And the knees draw into the chest, giving them a hug as we roll to our side in our fetal-like pose, our pose for two beginnings. And as you come into this fetal pose, keeping in mind our affirmation of I am motivated, persistent, and successful. When you're ready, we'll find a seated position of choice. Hands can come to heart center in our Anjali Mudra. as we tuck our chin under. And I just want to thank you so much for spending this time with me, for allowing me to guide you. It's really, truly an honor. And I'll see you again soon. Namaste. Bye, loves.